Okay. So, we will go back to comments from the audience. Anybody? No? How about corrections to the agenda or the consent calendar? Do we have a motion?
Move adoption of the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Peterson, a second from Cephalou. And that motion passes unanimous.
I will move payment of claims in the amount of $2,535,560.
Second.
We have a motion by Sheehan and a second by Cephalou. And that motion passes unanimous.
And that brings us to standing and ad hoc committees and liaison reports, which also brings us to the current committee assignments this year, which they're actually going to stay the same, a little bit different. One change is that the ad hoc committee that was previously the solar committee is now the solar and community power committee. And then previously, Elder Water Agency and Aqua and JPA board representative was under liaisons, and that will now be board appointed representatives. Do I need to go down the line to say each committee assignment, Gary?
What's that?
Do I need to go say each committee assignment, or?
No, I think if, as long as the memo will be included as part of the record.
Yeah.
It will.
Okay. So that's that. And on that point, does anybody have a report?
Yeah, we had the Systems Efficiency and Sustainability Committee this week. Actually really exciting meeting. I think just really amazed at the research and what we're developing here in the district. And so just to touch on a few things, we got an update on internal systems efficiencies. And so a few things I just wanted to highlight. Shane, you can add some additional details, but the take-homes for me were the monitoring and the way we're able to manage our hydrants now was really impressive. And I think fire being on everyone's mind and will continue to be so. Having that assurance that the hydrant by your house is being maintained is just going to be, I think, widely supported by the community. Some of the other things from a kind of energy efficiency standpoint is for the various different pump stations, getting readings from each pump station to see the energy being used, its efficiency, and there's some other kind of subsequent benefits to that it can start to demonstrate issues within the system early on, so that we can catch it. So there's a lot of really interesting technology and things kind of on the efficiency front. Was really excited to hear of the technology that allowed for the flyover for leak detection and the volumes of water saved by that. I think it was a reduction of 3% of our total leaks were reduced with that. Is that correct? Went from 16 to 13, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I forget the numbers off the top of my head.
Yeah. But anyway, a large reduction, and so that was incredibly positive. Also, I would say Shelley brought really exciting news from the legislation front, in that California has agreed to work with us, in particular, how outdoor water usage is calculated. And I don't know if you want to add some more details to that, but that was a really exciting update, and of course, just the educational opportunities that the district continues to provide to the community. So it was really, again, a positive meeting, and exciting things to come.
Yeah, just to add that they are making progress. It's been, I guess, quite a a bit of work to work with the various departments to start to generate the kinds of information that are important for understanding where inefficiencies exist within the system, maybe better pinpoint where more efficient technologies could be applied system-wide. And just to add on, I guess what Nick was mentioning, that they did receive a grant for $940,000 from OES on hazard mitigation, basically to retrofit some of our tanks with some battery technology. And then also they've applied for a drought grant through the Department of Water Resources to the tune of $2 million. This is great. I love seeing us taking advantage of the grant opportunities. So thank you, Shelley, and thank you, Ryan.
Just want to add one thing to that. On the satellite leak detection technology, I think one of the great things about that, we're seeing a lot of those leaks are not surfacing. So these are leaks being detected that you can't even see from the surface, but we verified out on the ground and actually made some repairs already. So I thought that was really impressive. And we actually plan on expanding that technology, inviting the Keys, Lukens, and others to join us in the next round.
Sounds good. The executive committee met today. That's Kelly and I to discuss the general manager's contract, and so we'll be taking that up in closed session today.
Okay. Any board member reports?
Hope everyone had a wonderful holiday and was able to stay out of the traffic. And would be curious in kind of your comments, John, kind of the impacts of the traffic jam of district operations.
Okay.
From my standpoint, on the adopt a hydrant thing, there has been a lot of chatter on Nextdoor. It's still going forward very positive. More and more people are getting involved in keeping their hydrants cleared out, so that's a good thing. Totally different subject I'd like to tee up for the board. Perhaps we can talk about it at another board meeting, but we've talked a little bit about employee housing and the difficulty of finding housing for employees, and I'd just like to tee up for discussion. We do have quite a bit of land down at Diamond Valley Ranch that is really unusable from a water wastewater standpoint, and perhaps we could develop some single-family housing down there that could be rented back to employees and or the general public. And I'm not sure whether the appropriate venue is to discuss that, if we have a committee that is appropriate to discuss that a little bit more, but I'd like to kind of throw that out there maybe for staff to think about, and then put it on a committee agenda or on the board agenda at large.
Okay, sure, yeah, and that component, workforce housing, and actually specifically workforce housing for our own employees, was going to be one of our major goals this year, I think, with the board's concurrence. And whether it's a workforce housing committee or perhaps, we have an Alpine County liaison or whatever the format, I think that's definitely something we need to forward this year.
And we have a meeting this afternoon. The AD-HOC meeting is this afternoon at 4 o'clock.
To discuss that?
Yeah, so to discuss affordable workforce housing.
Okay, very good.
Okay. El Dorado Water Agency Purveyor report?
No actions since the last meeting. We do have a meeting coming up on the 12th, however.
Staff or attorney reports? You're up.
Okay, thanks, Kelly. On staffing, I have 2 updates. Our advertisement for an underground repair water position closed on December 8th, and we interviewed 6 candidates yesterday, made a selection, and we'll be in touch with those candidates probably in the next few days, and I'll follow up next time to the board. And then secondly, the grants coordinator position, this is Lynn's position, that's still being advertised and open through January 19th. So moving on to COVID, lots going on with COVID these days. We have 8 employees out right now with COVID testing positive, and at least 12 more out due to exposure, COVID in the household, or they're sick with something and awaiting test results. So this is all record numbers, probably by 3 times, looking at the last 2 years. So big numbers. As far as we know, all of these cases were contracted outside the workplace, and the symptoms generally seem to be mild, and recovery is 3 to 5 days. A lot of those 12 are expected to return next week, but a couple are pretty sick with this. So we're wearing masks in common spaces. We're distancing, encouraging virtual meetings, and asking staff to stay home when they're sick, even if it's with what they perceive to be minor cold symptoms. And depending on staffing levels, we may need workers to return if they are vaccinated with no or minor symptoms. This is kind of what Barton and the school district are doing as well. And we are still waiting for federal and state action regarding those vaccine and testing mandates. It's still working their way through the court systems. So that's all I have on COVID today, but it's really keeping Liz and Dana busy. Thanks for all you're doing. Next, I want to talk about the recent winter storms a little bit. It really presented a significant challenge to district operations, especially the field crews and especially at Luther Pass Pump Station. With the extended power outage that we experienced, we had to mobilize really extensive generator fueling efforts. We have about 47 generators out there serving our water and sewer facilities. So constantly going out, monitoring them, refueling them was very challenging. The wet snow and traffic made it really hard to access our facilities. And our local fuel supplier, Flyers, they were running out of diesel. In fact, their last tank of diesel actually went to Luther Pass Pump Station last Thursday.
Right.
Do we need to vote?
Yeah, we are gonna vote right now.
Vote in second.
I'm sorry, John.
Oh, did it work out?
Okay, so the executive committee has negotiated the general manager agreement for professional services with John Teal for the position of general manager. The new contract includes a 3-year term with an effective date of today, January 6th, 2022. It runs through January 15th of 2025. It also includes eligibility for an annual merit increase based on satisfactory performance, and then an indemnification and defense costs. Any other questions, or I'll read the action? Sure. Okay. So requested board action approves the general manager agreement for professional services between the South Tahoe Public Utility District and John Teal for the position of general manager commencing January 6th, 2022.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Cefalu, a second by Sheehan. And that motion passes unanimous.
Next one.
14B.
Okay. So the board met with John Teal, general manager, to conduct an annual performance evaluation. The board found John's performance to be satisfactory, and based on the current GM contract, it provides for eligibility for a year increase to the next step in the salary range based on satisfactory performance. So the requested board action here is to approve the general manager's salary for 2022, a 23 contract year in the amount of $20,337.30 per month, or $2,047.65 annually, effective January 6th, 2022, through January 4th, 2023.
I guess I just note for the record that the threshold John was trying to pass was satisfactory, but I think we agree his product and his efforts have been exemplary. And so I just want to note that for the record.
Thank you.
I'll move the
we have a motion by Peterson, a second by Ramzos. And that motion passes unanimous.
So if we approve you for 3 years of employment, but we don't give you a salary, does that mean you work for free? I'm just curious. We're putting the cart before the horse.
Glad they both were passed.
So is the media gonna be here for the signing of the?
No hoopla.
Kelly,
Yeah, Dave?
I'd just like to congratulate John. Unanimous board support says a lot, and it says a lot about this board. I want to echo, some of the things you said about this board. I really appreciate the different perspectives and the wisdom that comes from each one of the board members and their own areas of expertise and really in life experience. And it's very gratifying for me to work with this board and work with such a good general manager to see, a unanimous support of a 3-year contract with a general manager is really a good thing. It's one of the more powerful things that we have done as a board last year that I would. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
3 more years.
3 more years.
Oh, no, I can do it.
Either.
No fires, no pandemics.
Yeah, Jesus.
What else? Next. I could take snow.
Well, Melanie, and that's my contact list, but
Okay,
two of those numbers don't exist, so I've given it back to you.
perfect. Then I'll just make those corrections. Did you put it on
There's
there?
John's
Noted?
contract. That's for you, huh?
Guess I'll, yeah,
You
sign
gotta
that.
sign your own contract.
Just a moment.
That also seems odd. I think Liz should sign.
I don't want any responsibility.
You still be quiet. Sorry, I'm not right.
Do we need to vote?
Yeah, we are gonna vote right now.
Vote.
I'm sorry, John.
Oh, did it work out?
Okay, so the executive committee has negotiated the general manager agreement for professional services with John Teal for the position of general manager. The new contract includes a 3-year term with an effective date of today, January 6th, 2022. It runs through January 15th of 2025. It also includes eligibility for an annual merit increase based on satisfactory performance, and then an indemnification and defense costs. Any other questions, or I'll read the action?
Sure.
Okay. So requested board action, approve the general manager agreement for professional services between the South Tahoe Public Utility District and John Teal for the position of general manager commencing January 6th, 2022.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Cephalou, a second by Sheehan. And that motion passes unanimous.
Next one.
14B.
Okay. So the board met with John Teal, general manager, to conduct an annual performance evaluation. The board found John's performance to be satisfactory, and based on the current GM contract, it provides for eligibility for a year increase to the next step in the salary range, based on satisfactory performance. So the requested board action, I'm here, is to approve the general manager's salary for 2022-23 contract year in the amount of $20,337.30 per month, or $2,044,2,047.65 annually. Let me get that first. Effective January 6th, 2022 through January 4th, 2023.
I guess I just note for the record that the threshold John was trying to pass was satisfactory, but I think we agree his broad
Thank you.
I'll move the recommendation.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Peterson, a second by Ramzos. And that motion passes unanimous.
So if we approve you for 3 years of employment, but we don't give you a salary, does that mean you work for free? I'm just curious. We're putting the cart before the horse.
Glad they both were passed.
So John,
So is the media gonna be here for the signing of the?
No hoopla.
Kelly.
Yeah, Dave?
I'd just like to congratulate John. Unanimous board support says a lot, and it says a lot about this board. I want to echo, some of the things you said about this board. I really appreciate the different perspectives and the wisdom that comes from each one of the board members and their own areas of expertise and really in life experience. And it's very gratifying for me to work with this board and work with such a good general manager to see, a unanimous support of a 3-year contract with a general manager is really a good thing. It's a very, one of the more powerful things that we have done as a board last year that I've been. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
3 more years.
3 more years.
Oh, no, I can do it.
Either.
No fires, no pandemics.
What else? Next.
I could take snow.
Well, Melanie, and that's my contact list, but
Okay,
two of those numbers don't exist, so I've given it back to you.
perfect. Then I'll just make those corrections. Did you put it on
There's
there?
John's
Noted?
contract. That's for you, huh?
Guess I'll, sign
You gotta
that.
sign your own contract.
Just send on it.
That also seems odd. I think Liz should sign.
I don't want any responsibility.
Haven't been out there.
You're still recording.
You wear a mask inside.
Sorry, I'm not